In this video, we're going to learn how to sketch straight lines really quickly. So we're going to get rid of the tables of values that we've been using in the past. So we're not going to use this little box over here. And instead, we're going to use the characteristics or the numbers that you can see that we have on these lines. So right here, we have y equals 2x. Well, that 2, I'm going to use that. And that 1 there, I'm going to use that as well. So let's get started. The first thing we always need to do is place our lines into this form here. This is called the gradient form. So what we have here is y equals mx plus b. If I gave you something like this, 2y equals 4x plus 8, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to divide everything by 2 because we have 2 y's, and this gradient form, you can see we only have 1 y there. The next thing we need to do is take note of the m value. So right there we have m. And now m means the gradient of the line. Now you might have heard gradient also described as the rise over the run. So we're going to be grabbing that value. And the other value we need is this b value. Now b is known as the y-intercept. And the y-intercept is where your line goes through the y-axis. So this is the y-axis here. You can see the straight line, the vertical line going up. It has a y on it. And for this line, y equals 2x plus 1, well, that plus 1 there, that's your b value that we have. And where is it going through the y-axis? At plus 1. So that last value there always represents where the line will go through the black line, the black vertical line. Right there is the 1, and right here is the 1. Now the last thing to take note of is whether or not the m value is positive or negative. So if m is a plus, such as the plus 2 we have here, then your line will do this. Plus means that your line is going from bottom left to top right, that kind of angle there. But if your m is negative, so there's our positive one, if m is negative, your line will do this. It's going to go that way on that angle, from top left to bottom right. So let's try the line y equals 3x minus 2. So here we have our 1y, so we're fine there. Now the next value to grab is this m value. So m equals 3. So m is the gradient, and we need to represent that as a rise over run. So how can we make one number here, 3, become a fraction? It's going to be something over something. Well, you can write any whole number like this, 3, as 3 over 1. So our rise is 3, and our run will be 1. The next value we'll grab is this plus b. You can see at the end of this gradient form here. So what we have is plus b right there, and it's a minus 2. So our b value is minus 2. And what did b represent? B is the y-intercept. It's where the line goes through the y-axis. So that means I can go straight to our Cartesian plane. I can go to this y-axis here, and where we have minus 2, I can place a little point because I know that this line is going to go through y equals minus 2. That is the y-intercept. It's where we go through the y-axis. So if we go back to the gradient, we have a rise of 3 and a run of 1. That means that from this y-intercept here, I can go up 3 places, once, twice, 3 times. I'm now at this point right here, and I have to run once. And you have to ask yourself, do you bounce once to the left, this way, or do you bounce once to the right? Well, because it's positive, we know that our line is going to be this one here. It's going to go from bottom left to top right. That means that I'm going to bounce once to the right. So now I can go to that point and put a little cross. And with those 2 points, I can draw a line. I only need 2 points to draw a line. And there is our line, y equals 3x minus 2, without using a table of values. If you went and used a table of values, you would get the same thing. You'd plot a whole bunch of points and you'd find the same line, but that's a much quicker way of doing it. We'll try a few more. So here we've got y equals a third x plus 2. So I'm just going to go and pull the values out that we need. We need the gradient. So m, the gradient, is the 1/3 value you can see there. And we need plus b. We need the b value. That's the y-intercept, and it's 2 here. So b equals 2. So the first thing we're going to do is plot that point there. Where do we go through the y-axis? At 2. So there's our first point. And the next thing I'm going to do is look at the gradient, and we already have it as a fraction. It's rise over run. So the rise is 1 and the run is 3. It's positive, so we're going to be using this one here. It has to rise once. So at this point here, I'm going to go up once. And we run 3 times. So we bounce 3 times to the right. Once, twice, 3 times. So bear in mind, if I'd bounced 3 times to the left instead, we would have had something looking like this. And you can see that that's top left to bottom right. That would have been a negative gradient, but we don't have a negative gradient. It's a positive third. So we just need to draw a line. And there is a line y equals 1/3 x plus 2. Let's try some more. Sketch 2y is equal to minus 3x plus 4. Well, we can see straight away we have a problem here. We don't have this gradient form of the line. We need 1y. So what I'm going to do is divide everything by 2. And what I end up with is y equals minus 3x over 2. And 4 divided by 2 gives us just 2. So looking at that, I can quickly sketch that y-intercept. You can see that that's shown itself now. We have a plus 2, so I can go to plus 2 over here, right there. Now the next thing we need is the gradient, but currently our x value is combined together in this fraction. We have something like this. We have minus 3x over 2. So we need to get x out the front here. Instead of being up there, it needs to be down here. And the easiest way to think of this is like this. We have minus 3 over 2. And if you times it by x, that's exactly the same thing. Another way to look at it is like this. Times by x over 1. Now if you multiply minus 3 by x, you get minus 3x. And 2 times 1 will give you your 2. So there's our x value. X over 1 is x. And here's our gradient here. So m equals minus 3 over 2. And that's the rise and run. So rise is 3 and the run is 2 and it's a negative. So we know that our line is going to be doing this. It's going to be going from top left to bottom right. So we're going to go up 3 units from that y-intercept. So 1, 2, 3. So we're at the 5 now. And now you ask yourself, do I go right or left? Well, the only way I can draw a line like this, where it's going from top left to bottom right, is if I bounce to the left. And how many times do we run? If you go back to here, we've got a run of 2. So I've got 2 bounces to the left. So our next point is that one there. And that's all we need for a straight line. So we'll draw it. So there is the line y equals minus 3 over 2x. And it's plus 2 was the y-intercept. So let's sketch the line 2x plus y plus 1 equals 0. So first of all, we don't have the gradient form here. We need y equals something. I need to make y the subject. So I need to move our 2x to the other side. It's a plus 2x. If I move it to the right, it becomes a minus 2x. Or another way to think of it is let's just subtract 2x from the left-hand side and from the right-hand side. And we're going to subtract 1 from the left-hand side as well, because we don't want the plus 1 there. We just want the y by itself, and we subtract 1 from that side. So what we've done is we've moved everything over to the right, or we're just cancelling this stuff out here. So they're gone, and we end up with y equals minus 2x minus 1. So there's our gradient form. Now we just need to find the y-intercept and the gradient. So the y-intercept is minus 1, so b equals minus 1, so straight away minus 1, I'm going to put our point there on the graph. And minus 2 is the gradient. So minus 2 means it's going to be going this way, like that. And minus 2, how can I write that as a fraction? Well, it's going to be minus 2 over 1. So the rise is 2 and the run is 1. So we go up twice, once, twice, and I have to bounce left. So we end up right here. So we'll draw the line. So there's the line y equals minus 2x minus 1.